We all agree Aretha Franklin is the queen of soul, right? But before her reign, there was another, an original queen, whose voice could strip paint off walls or soothe a crying baby. Her name was Etta James. She was labeled the Queen of Soul long before anyone else. This woman inspired Diana Ross, Amy Winehouse, and even Keith Richards, who said her voice could take you to hell or heaven. Blues, jazz, pop, rock, soul, she sang it all. She even set fashion trends with her blonde hair. But her journey, oh, it was a wild ride. A rough life, y'all. Let's get into it. Born James Etta Hawkins on the 25th of January 1938 in Los Angeles. Etta's life started rough. Her mother, Dorothy, was just 14 when Etta was born. Etta never knew her father, though she always suspected it was a white pool player known as Minnesota Fats. Dorothy was young, hustling on the streets, and couldn't raise a child. So she gave Etta to her landlords, Lula and Jesse Rogers, who became her foster parents. By age 5, Etta was singing in church, and boy, could she sing. Her voice was so powerful, Hollywood stars would come just to hear her. Her choir director, Professor Hines, even hit her in the chest while she sang to force her voice from her gut. People called her a child prodigy with a full-grown woman's voice. But her foster father, seeing all the attention, tried to exploit her. He'd make her sing for his friends in the middle of the night and beat her if she refused. He even pulled her from church after arguing about her getting paid. Then tragedy struck. Lula, her adopted mother, died from a stroke. Etta moved back with her birth mother in San Francisco. But living with Dorothy was chaos. Etta stopped singing, started getting into trouble, playing hooky, smoking, drinking, joining gangs. She even did time in juvenile detention, yet a new love blossomed, the blues and doo-wop. She idolized Billie Holiday and Ray Charles. At 12, tired of fighting with her mother, who was often in and out of jail, Etta moved in with her gang friends. And guess what? She started singing again. She formed a trio called the Creolettes. At 14, Etta met bandleader Johnny Otis. He loved her voice, offering her and her group $8.10 a show. Etta dropped out of 9th grade. Otis changed their name to the Peaches and James Setta to Etta James. He even gave her the nickname Miss Peaches. He landed them a deal with Modern Records, home to legends like John Lee Hooker and B. King. They recorded Roll With Me Henry, a response to Hank Ballard's Work With Me Annie. Etta wrote the lyrics, but radio stations banned it, calling it too sexual. Can you believe it? Roll With Me Henry was too much. So they changed the name to The Wallflower, and it soared to Hash-Shown on the R&B charts, landing them an opening spot for Little Richard. But then Johnny Otis sold the song. A white pop singer, Georgia Gibbs, covered it as Dance With Me Henry, selling millions and hitting Hash-Shown on the pop charts. Etta, a young teen new to the business, saw no money from it. Johnny Otis got it all. This experience sparked a fire in Etta. She wanted to understand the business. People told her she should be making more money. Fans thought her version was the hit. She might have been broke, but she was a major star, and she didn't even know it. She wanted to look older, more like a star. So Etta dyed her hair platinum blonde, inspired by Joyce Bryant, the bronze blonde bombshell. While still making only $8.10 a night in underground clubs, she was a solo act now. The Peaches broke up due to jealousy. Etta was always treated like the star. Touring the Chitlin circuit with guitar legend Johnny Guitar Watson in the 1,950 seconds, they faced brutal racism. One time, Etta, feisty and impatient, used the white restroom at a gas station. The owner pulled a gun on Johnny Watson, threatening to kill him if Etta didn't apologize. She refused. Because Etta was light-skinned, cops often pulled them over, thinking black men were with a white woman. It was a constant threat. She met legends, Ruth Brown, a young Sam Cooke with the Soul Stirrers, Lou Rawls, Shirley Caesar, Jackie Wilson, even Elvis Presley. But her idol, Billie Holiday, left a lasting impression. Billie, hands and feet swollen from drugs, looked at Etta and warned her, "Don't end up like me." A chilling foreshadowing, wouldn't you say? Etta then met Harvey Fuqua and went to Chicago. Someone told her if she wanted real money, she needed to sign with Chess Records. Perfect timing. Leonard Chess was looking for a female singer. He had all the male blues greats like Muddy Waters and Chuck Berry, but no successful women. Etta was his blessing. Chess bought her out of her Modern Records contract, putting her straight to work. She sang background on Chuck Berry's Back in the USA and Almost Grown, alongside the Marquis, which featured a young Marvin Gaye. Etta remembered women being crazy for Marvin, even a dancer biting him because he wouldn't sleep with her. Etta and Harvey Fuqua, who were dating, released duets like If I Can't Have You, but then a twist. Leonard Chess had loaned Berry Gordy money to start Motown. He sent Harvey to Detroit to check on the investment. Harvey ended up falling for Berry's sister, Gwen Gordy, and signed with her label. This is how Marvin Gaye eventually signed with Motown and married Anna Gordy. Etta was heartbroken. Her boyfriend left her for the woman whose brother Leonard Chess helped fund Chess. Seeing her pain pushed her into the studio. She recorded her first solo hit, All I Could Do Was Cry, co-written by Berry and Gwen Gordy. Etta's raw emotion propelled it to #2 on the R&B charts and #33 pop. The pain was real, and you could hear it. But when she got her first royalty envelope from Chess, it wasn't money. It was a statement showing she was $14,000 in debt. Chess explained he bought her out of her old contract. Instead of cash, he'd give her $2,000 if she needed it, along with Cadillacs, fur coats, and rings. "Those are your royalties," he'd say. Better than her last deal, she thought. Then came the song The World Would Love, At Last. Originally written in 1941, Etta's version hit #2 on R&B and #47 on the Billboard Hot 100. Her debut album, At Last, released in November 1960, went gold. One night, her idol, Dinah Washington, came to see her. Etta, wanting to show respect, sang Dinah's Unforgettable. Dinah went ballistic. She smashed glasses, screamed, called Etta names, and warned, "Don't you ever sing the Queen song when the Queen is right in front of you." Etta ran off crying. Dinah later apologized, but offered a lesson. Never sing a star's song if they're in the audience. With hit records and newfound access, Etta made a fateful choice. She tried heroin for the first time. She thought it was coke, sniffed it, then started injecting it. She loved it, partly because it made her lose weight. Etta was out of control. Etta tried to kick the habit, even joining the Nation of Islam and calling herself James Setta X. She knew Malcolm X from his Detroit Red days and Muhammad Ali, then Cassius Clay, whom she gave information about Islam, but she couldn't fully commit. The dope had too strong a hold. She was a junkie, injecting heroin into her feet, hands, neck, and forehead. Her manager supplied her drugs and booked her shows. She watched 2 band members die of overdoses right in front of her. Yet it only made her want more. She crossed the Mexican border for a fix, pawn band instruments for drug money. She disliked James Brown, calling him controlling. Once filling in for his singer, she was late coming back with socks. James Brown fired her and tried to intimidate her with a bodyguard and a gun. Jackie Wilson, also on the bill, and a Golden Glove boxer, stepped in. If Etta goes, I go. James Brown backed down. Etta's addiction led to her arrest in the same Indiana hotel where Ray Charles was busted. She went to Leonard Chess for help, who put her in rehab. There, doctors discovered she had fluid on her brain and lockjaw from dirty needles. She was having seizures, but they saved her life, telling her she was only the second person in Illinois history to survive lockjaw. She felt better, clean, and wanted to sing again. but her manager offered her heroin. She sniffed it, and just like that, she was hooked again. Her life spiraled. She dated a jealous pimp who beat her regularly, then a gangster named Red Dillard who bought heroin from Lucky Luciano, but the feds got him. Etta started writing bad checks to buy drugs, landing her in jail repeatedly. After 4 months, she got sober again, returning to music with Leonard Chess. Then came devastating news. Sam Cooke was killed on the 11th of December 1964, the year of the Freedom Summer Project, a time of immense civil rights struggle, where Sam's "A Change Is Gonna Come" was an anthem. Etta was heartbroken. She believed it was a setup, a sacrificial lamb. Sam was too smart, too powerful, wanted to control his own label, and she felt he tried to leave the mafia who had helped him. She believed he was drugged at lunch, then beaten and shot, with a fake story about a prostitute made up. Etta said at his funeral, Sam's head looked disconnected, his hands broken, nose crushed, and his body mangled. How could a small motel manager with a broomstick do that? To Etta, it was a cover-up. She was only 26. Etta kept getting high, doing shows just to support her habit, believing drugs made her sing better. Leonard Chess tried to help, but she wasn't seeing royalties. Shows were her only income. Motown was taken over, and Etta noticed Berry Gordy sent his artists to charm school and got them on TV, things Chess Records never did. She endured another abusive relationship with singer Billy Foster, who beat her badly. She loved bad boys, she said. She got pregnant by him and continued using drugs. Disturbingly, she witnessed Ike Turner abusing Tina right in front of her. Tina was showing off a diamond ring when Ike walked in, punched her in the face, bent her hand back, and snatched the ring. Tina's face swelled instantly. Etta, for some reason, was even attracted to Ike. In 1967, she released Call My Name. The IRS was after her for back taxes, so she put her boyfriend's name on the credits to get royalties. The next year, Tell Mama became one of her most successful albums, recorded at Fame Studios in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Tell Mama and I'd Rather Go Blind were huge hits. Leonard Chess cried when he heard I'd Rather Go Blind, a song written by the blind musician Clarence Carter, but Etta hated it, hated performing it. Rod Stewart, B, King, Beyonce, Janis Joplin, Diana Ross all covered her songs. Otis Redding, who told Etta she inspired him, planned a duet album with her. Months later, he died in a plane crash. Etta had her first child and married Artis Mills, a relationship that would last. But Leonard Chess died from a heart attack. Times got rough again. Etta even got artists hooked on heroin. They committed robberies, wrote bad checks to support their habit. They were caught. Artists took the blame, doing 10 years in prison. Chess Records, now run by others but still family to Etta, tried to help. They gave her a desk job and paid for rehab, but she got hooked on meth. Arrested again, facing serious jail time, a judge showed mercy. Recognizing her addiction, he sent her to rehab instead of prison. This time, she got truly clean. Even releasing an album, Come a Little Closer, from rehab. She was supposed to perform at the Rumble in the Jungle fight in Africa, but it was postponed. She stayed clean for 2 years, even supervising other junkies at rehab. But one Christmas, she got too drunk, broke the rules, left, and relapsed into heroin. She got pregnant with her second child with a man she met in rehab. In 1976, she released her final Chess Records album, Etta Is Better Than Ever. After 16 years, she left Chess, still having never made money from her royalties. She signed with Jerry Wexler at Warner Brothers, releasing Deep in the Night. The Rolling Stones invited her to open for them at the Montreux Jazz Festival. They'd known her since their teens at Chess. Still using drugs and blowing money, Etta started performing for her biggest fans, the gay clubs in San Francisco. One night in a club, she had a vision of the devil on the dance floor. It scared her so badly, she quit drugs for good. She got clean, sober, and took charge of her career. In 1984, she sang the national anthem at the Olympic Games in Los Angeles. Being clean brought positive things and real money. The blues were making a comeback, and white audiences loved her. But she wasn't entirely done with addiction. She got hooked on legal painkillers, checking herself into rehab again. After rehab, she signed a major deal with Island Records, releasing 7-Year Itch, which was Grammy nominated. She even tried to find her rumored father, Minnesota Fats, meeting him briefly. She finally started receiving royalties when MCA Records bought the Chess Records catalog. Her album, Sticking to My Guns, was Grammy nominated, featuring a song with rapper Def Jaf. Her sons formed a rap group, the James Outlaws, and her oldest, Donto, became her drummer. She received an NAACP Image Award. In 1994, she released Mystery Lady Songs of Billie Holiday, her first jazz album, dedicated to her idol and her mother's favorite artist. It hit #2 on Billboard's jazz charts and won her first Grammy in 1995 after 40 years of singing. That same year, At Last was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame. She kept releasing albums through the 90s and 2000s. In 2003, after gastric bypass surgery, she lost over 200 pounds, saying her voice became 10 times better. She received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame and the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. Her albums Let's Roll 2004 and Blues to the Bone 2005 both won Grammys. In 2008, Beyoncé portrayed her in the movie Cadillac Records, and Etta had thoughts about it. She famously threatened Beyoncé for singing At Last at President Obama's inaugural ball, saying Obama wasn't her president and had big ears. She later claimed she was joking, but was hurt not to be invited. Health issues mounted, Alzheimer's, blood infection, MRSA, then leukemia in 2011. She became so sick she couldn't write her name. Her family fought over her estate. Her husband of 41 years, Artis Mills, against her sons. A judge ruled Artis as conservator. On the 20th of January 2012, just 5 days before her 74th birthday, Etta James passed away from chronic leukemia, dementia, and kidney failure. Etta James's life was a whirlwind of raw talent, brutal challenges, and ultimate triumph. From a child prodigy to a global icon, her voice remains timeless. Beyoncé did a great job in Cadillac Records, but Etta's story, as told in her autobiography, Rage to Survive, deserves its own full-length biopic. Read that book and you'll understand. Rest in peace, Queen Etta. Her legend, At Last, truly lives on